It's the After the Show podcast, precious.
We don't care, we're about to swear on the air. It's the After the Show, so tune in if you dare. KVJ, get risque every single day. It's uncensored. We can say what we want to say.
Alrighty, here we go. It is the Tuesday KVJ After the Show podcast. Welcome. Glad to have you all here. Got some fun stuff going on this week and all primed and ready. Tomorrow night is game one of the Stanley Cup Finals, and if you're looking for a place to watch the first couple of games, they are going to be having watch parties at Amerant Bank Arena.
Oh, I was going to say at Kevin's house.
Yes, as I sleep.
How mad would you be if we brought a whole entire Panther watch party to your house?
That'd be rough. That would be rough. Yes. Not a lot of sleep that night.
Not very nice, but very funny.
There you go. Well, how about it? Enjoy. Yeah, so that's something you can check out this weekend. So go ahead and plan for that. And as we had mentioned, our very own Coco Gauff is going to be playing at 5 a.m. coming up what would be Wednesday morning our time. She's trying to get into the semifinals of the French Open. So doing well there. Glad to see it. Got a bunch of emails here with some comments from today's regular show. Susie had said, you know, Jaber was talking about his buddy that has been dating this girl for 2 months. He goes into her guest bathroom, which was filthy, and he actually saw a roach eating her deodorant, which was uncapped. Would that be a deal breaker for you? And Susie said, I'm dating someone new 1 month, and we both saw a roach in my bathroom. He immediately killed it and bought roach stations the next day and put them all around my house, which is also not that dirty.
So I think that's a different situation. Because her bathroom, which by the way was not in her bedroom, it wasn't like he was going into the. That's the one that they usually use. He decided just to use the other one. That's not. He got up to go pee. Was he really thinking about it?
Yep.
And he just said it was disgusting. There was there was floss on the ground. Yeah. And then, you know, on top, there was, you know, gross trash. It looked like there was maybe some food in there. Mm-hmm. And then he saw a roach eating deodorant. So it wasn't like it just was this roach. It was the overall crime scene, I think, is what rattled him. Yeah. And then the roach just eating the deodorant pushed him over the edge.
I don't think that relationship sees month 3.
I don't know if it does either.
Yeah, she's got to get it together. If you're going to have company over, you can't have him accidentally find your filth.
That's just it. I mean, wouldn't you at least do a quick cleanup?
Maybe she thought she did, and maybe she didn't think he would go in that bathroom because he never has.
It's a good point. Because he doesn't go over there that much. Yeah. There's a good reason why, I guess.
But you have to just make sure that every area he could possibly go into looks presentable. It doesn't have to look pristine, but it can't have roaches and filth and food.
Having a roach is one thing. Having a room look like a crime scene and it be disgusting on top of the roach, I think. You put that together. If you're throwing a party, let's say there's 25 people there and everyone's chilling and a roach crawls up the wall and everyone can see it, are you embarrassed or are you kind of just like, fuck it?
I mean, you're embarrassed, but that's happened.
Yeah. So we're grossed out by roaches. Are roaches ever grossed out by us?
They have to love us, right?
I don't know. Could that roach be like going through a bathroom and be going, oh, this girl's so nasty?
Floss on the ground?
Yeah.
I think the more nasty you are, the more they like it.
I would agree.
Okay.
They like bathrooms. They like cardboard boxes. Roaches do.
Okay.
And sometimes they will get in your purse or your bag, and you'll go to somebody's house and you'll bring roaches to their house.
Oh, let's say you buy. That's what people get nervous sometimes buying boxes from garage sales.
Yes.
Because you'll have a cardboard box. You bring it in your house. You're not even thinking because there's shit in there that could have eggs. That could have
roaches.
Tons of shit.
Totally.
And it's not that you're dirty. It's just that box. You just brought in a roach bomb.
100%.
We also got an email about the Am I the Jerk email from earlier today of this mom who has been reading to her kids for the last 2 years about Europe, their culture, food, all that kind of stuff. And while she was doing that, she started to secretly put money away for a trip. She put together the itinerary, knew the cost. When she reached the dollar amount, she let her kids know exactly what was going on. And they're like, cool. And then they're like going, hey, can dad come? This is her ex that left her 4 years ago for another woman. And
cheated on her.
Yep. And been spending all of his money on all kinds of side hoes since then. And I guess the son, who's 12, texts dad and said, hey, we're going to Europe. You want to come? And so he contacts his ex, and he's like, yeah, I'd love to go. I'll even pay my own way. And so now the kids are excited about dad going, but she's like, no, I can't do that. So I guess those kind of things happen. And Ernie said, yeah, I was a single father due to my ex leaving the kids and I. She moved to another city even and would see the kids only once or twice a month. And on a number of occasions, she would ask in front of the kids, oh, I really want to come and stay at your house. It'd be so much easier and a lot less expensive. And again, she's the one who left us. So when I got a moment alone with her, I was very frank. And I said, to be clear, you're never going to be staying the night at my house. That time in our lives is over. And you need to stop asking in front of the kids and use them to try and manipulate me. And he said there was a stunned moment of silence, and then she said, okay. And that was the last time she ever spoke on that topic. So
She knew what she was doing.
yeah. Yeah, I imagine that does happen a lot, that you will have manipulation of the kids after you divorce, and that's got to be really tough, man, especially when they work the kids and then the kids come back and they're working you, and now it seems like you're the bad guy and the heavy, and you're just saying, look, we can't cross this line.
I could not imagine going through something like that. Having kids that you raise, that you love so much, and having a fly-by-night somebody coming in every now and then, and them being an asshole, and then you have to deal with it for, if you have kids with them. That's got to be tough, man.
You're describing so many people's situation.
I know, and I feel really bad for that. To be linked up with someone you cannot stand, but you have to somehow coexist because you have children. That is fucking tough.
And they cheated on you.
Oh, yeah, they've done you wrong.
Yeah.
Trying to make you look like the crazy one.
Just whatever you do, don't use the kids as a weapon. Don't tell the kids everything that your ex did wrong until they're adults. Because it's not information that you give to a kid. Mm-hmm. If there was cheating, if there was infidelity, if there was shadiness, if there was theft of money, if there was wrongdoing, don't tell the kids that kind of stuff until they're adults. But when they're adults, I think you can tell them.
Yeah.
At 18 or 21 or when they're a little bit older.
When they're 18 and they're still like, man, I wish you and dad would get back together. All right, well, you're 18 now. You're old enough to know what happened. Here's what happened when we broke up. And here's why we're not together. And here's why we don't accept this kind of behavior from a spouse. That's when you use it as a teaching moment to say, hey, I left this marriage because this was not cool. This crossed my boundaries.
And he could not fuck for shit. No, don't say that. I'm just kidding.
Oh, my God.
That was a joke. A little levity about a serious conversation never hurts every now and then. Sorry. My bad. Yes, do not tell your kids that.
It'd be a great reaction video.
It would.
Post that on social media.
By the way, your dad could not fuck for shit.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yes, again.
Post. Mm-hmm. Just watch them likes and shares roll right up, baby. Our friend Dan Dosky had some advice for the dad who's thinking about pulling out the financing for his son's travel baseball career, which is costing him a ton of money because the kid really doesn't play that much. He's just riding the pine, and they're traveling around all these cities, and he spent all this money on equipment and things like that. And he's like, so is it going to be a big deal if I just stop the funding of it? And Dan, who has been basically running baseball in West Palm Beach for a very long time. His son is a fantastic player.
Gus.
Yep.
We love Dan.
And he is an authority at Phipps Park there. And he said, well, you want a living room kid? Easy. Go back to window AC units. Okay. We were talking about, do you have a living room or a bedroom kid? And he said, for the baseball dad, at 15, if your kid loves baseball but is a bench warmer on a travel team, 1, play the rec league. He'll get confidence plus fall, spring, and all-stars for a summer season. 2, take the time and money from travel and get him a real athletic training gym 5 days a week to work on strength, speed, and athleticism. 2, 3, get ready for his high school JV or varsity tryout season. He said you will spend far less money, he'll get exponentially better, and be more engaged with his community.
It's great perspective from Dan, and I really do agree. And just because a kid is riding on the bench doesn't mean he doesn't want or she doesn't want to be there. I mean, I rode the bench back in college. I wanted to be on the field, and you never know what can happen, and you never know when life is going to change, because there was a few times in my life where I was on the bench and I got some good opportunities because the situation just it lended it to that. So just because a kid isn't playing doesn't mean they don't want to be there. Now, it may suck and it may hurt them because it hurt my heart when I wasn't playing, because you want to be out there. But you can learn a lot, especially the mental side, when you're on the bench. And you can become a very good baseball player that way.
It is chock full of life lessons, too, and not to mention the relationships that you foster in that time. And pulling the plug on the baseball just lends your kid to go out and figure out other things to do to entertain themselves with their time. And that scares me. Talking about baseball, I saw your former coach had a little bit of an issue. The guy that coached Jaber when he was a youth is now the head coach at the University of Florida, Virginia. His name's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Okay.
And he did not have a good showing in the playoffs, apparently. I guess Florida exited the regionals early after allowing 22 runs and 2 losses, which in baseball terms, is that good? 22 runs in 2 games?
22 runs, that if you're scoring that, that's amazing. If you're giving that up, it's terrible.
Giving that up, yeah.
It's not good.
So he was a little upset and apparently had a bit of a rant that was captured on video. And then the other coach for Coastal Carolina blasted him as being disrespectful and unacceptable. So, yeah, maybe I'll take back some of those life lessons. You never know. That all depends upon your coach.
He was my coach for 2 years. I got many stories about that guy.
I know your other high school coach was a guy that you were very close with.
Coach Joe Russo, yes. Yeah. I have nothing but great things to say about Coach Joe Russo. I do love me some Russo.
Yeah.
And he taught me a lot about baseball, and he taught me a lot about, the mental side of it as well.
Yeah.
Which that to me is the greatest gift I ever got, was like you're talking about friends, learning friends, or having friends, having people for life. I got people that are in my life that will always be in my life because of baseball,
right? Yeah,
or any kind of team sport like that.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm a big Russo fan. Other coach.
Well, he's got a few detractors today. He's kind of doing the apology tour right now.
Yeah, well,
yeah, that happens, right?
When you're an asshole,
things tend to catch up to you.
Yeah.
Dude, 22 runs. Oof. Well, we were talking about whether or not you send your kid off to boarding school as well. We had a KVJ court yesterday with a mom not wanting to send her son, but her son wants to go. And the dad said, look, I went to boarding school and it was one of the best things ever. And B said here, there is a compromise. If you have the cash flow for boarding school, why not just do a private school? Look, I get teaching independence, but you can do that with them locally if you implement certain ground rules. And there are plenty of private schools that cater to sports and academics that don't require you to miss your child's day to day. Yeah, you got places too, like St. Andrews in Boca Raton. That is a boarding school. And, if you're in South Florida, you could send your kid there so you get the results of that, but you could go see him anytime you want. So that's not that bad. It's not like sending them up to Boston where you'd never see him. So she said, yeah, I can understand wanting to give your child a head start, and dad selling him so hard on it doesn't help mom, but this is the part of their lives that they remember the most. Do you really want to be exempt from this chapter? If that kid is focused enough on getting ahead, then boarding school isn't essential. I know dad wants what's best for him, but for me, as someone who went to private school, preschool, 8th grade, if your goal is to raise another slave to corporate America, then send them away. If you want to raise a well-rounded individual with a higher education, I think private school is the better choice and a fair compromise. And, of course, you can reassess each year. Just my thoughts. Okay. Thank you, B. Got a title on this email that says V is wrong. What does that mean?
Shit.
What does that mean? Okay. It says here, I work with Jaybird's water company, Seacoast Utility. Thanks for the shout out the other day, Bird. I'm reaching out on behalf of our chief operations officer because he keeps hearing Virginia criticize city water, and he's determined to prove her wrong.
Oh, shit.
Now,
Look, I'm just going by the public information that is made available by the city of Jupiter. I looked at it. I've extensively examined it. And if you've got a problem with it, take it up with Jupiter. It's public information.
this one's coming from Palm Beach Gardens. I wonder if their water differs.
Every water is going to differ by the treatment plant.
Yeah, I've heard that Riviera Beach has rough water.
Awful. They have some of the worst water, and they go through it. If you live in Riviera Beach, you know you've been through the ringer with all those boil orders where you have to boil your water to make it drinkable.
It says, we know she's paid to speak negatively about city water, but we'd love to invite you all to our water treatment plant for a personal tour. That way you can see firsthand just how high quality and safe our city water really is.
You had done fucking pissed him off.
I don't give a shit. It is a filtration system that takes out impurities and chemicals in your water. All city water has levels of impurities and chemicals in it. I'm sorry you don't like the facts, but the facts are the facts.
I mean, I would love to hear that exchange. I would love to hear him talk. I think that'd be a good conversation if he wants to.
Yeah, Virginia presents her facts, and then he presents his counter.
I'll just bring in my guy Charlie from Pure Wave Filtration. He can debate it with Charlie all day long.
Oh no, that's no fun. I want to hear you debate with this guy. That's what people want.
It's not my fight. First of all, it's not my.
Oh, I don't know.
It's not my educational realm. Let him go toe-to-toe with Charlie. My information comes from Charlie at Pure Wave Filtration. I'm just purely regurgitating. I am not a scholar of water.
And you're supposed to get paid to talk negatively? I mean...
I get paid to promote the water filtration system that I have on my home and that I love, and I'm a big fan of taking out as many chemicals as you can from not just your water, but your food as well.
And forgive me for asking so many questions. I'm just doing my job.
I think you're liking to fucking kick the beast a little bit. I'd rather debate you, bitch.
There you go. There you go.
Ma'am, I'm just doing my job. I'm a journalist.
Whatever. Let me kick you in your good hip.
It's not that good.
I was going to say,
Actually, they're both fucked. So.
Letty said, I am a Costco member and full-time caregiver for my legally blind father. Recently, I was stopped at the checkout and told I couldn't use his EBT card to buy his groceries because it wasn't in my name. The cashier was incredibly rude and even accused me of fraud. I want to say it's not fraud when you're the caregiver, but I held my breath and walked away, leaving everything behind. I get that Costco is cracking down on people misusing memberships. I really do, but I'm reaching out because I honestly want to know, am I the asshole in this situation? Could I have handled it differently? Should caregivers really be treated this way? Sure, we could remove me and add my dad to the membership, but that would mean he'd have to shop in person, which he physically can't do. Not every disabled person has the support system he has, and this policy ends up hurting people who need it the most. I filed a complaint with the DOJ under the Americans with Disabilities Act. I also called corporate to give feedback. Part of me feels like an asshole, but the other part feels like, yeah, this can be an issue.
I don't know. That was a lot. That was a lot of issues in bulk right there.
If it's an issue for you, it's probably an issue for other people. So it's never a bad thing to fight for those who can't fight for themselves. And disabled people definitely, especially if he can't leave the house, he needs somebody to go get that food for him.
You got to talk to a higher up at Costco, and this is where you're not being a Karen.
No.
I think there's this misconception if you want to talk to the manager about an issue that's a legit fucking issue, you're a Karen. No, that's not what a Karen is. It sounds like there's a breakdown or a flaw in the system.
Totally.
And I'm sure if you talk to somebody, you're talking about some serious issues here. They don't want bad pub. They don't want bad press, especially on a matter like this. I would talk to a higher up and explain your situation and see what they say. Now, if that's their policy, that's their policy. I don't know their policy.
I'm sure for the people who run it, they like to hear the little inconveniences that happen on the day-to-day because they may not have the awareness of it. So I could see where a comment would be like, oh, okay, yeah, I never even thought about that.
And if you keep us in the loop and tell us what's going on, you'll be helping other people with your story because more and more young adults every day are becoming caregivers as our parents are aging.
And if it is just their policy doesn't trump the law. If there's a law that can say, you know what I'm saying? If the law says no, a caregiver can absolutely buy medicine, then it doesn't matter about their policy.
Yep.
Yeah, can you have your name added to his account for the money that comes from the government? Can your name be on that card, the EBT card?
I'm not sure how that all works.
I'm not sure either, but it is. I bet you that's a problem that a lot of people go through.
We are going to ask you at least 3 more questions that you do not have the answer to, Kevin, about the email.
That's okay. Ask away. Ask away. I got Marianne giving a recommendation for a couple docuseries that are coming to Netflix. There's one on the small submarine tourist that they went on in 2023 that imploded the deep sea.
I think it's out already.
She said it looks great. It's called Titan, the Ocean Gate Disaster.
I think it might be out, or I thought I saw it on Netflix ready to go. But I see a lot of shit, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, you can check that one out if that's your thing. And then one called Cocaine Air Smugglers, about 2 pilots smuggling 700 kilos in 26 suitcases from Punta Cana that somehow involved a former president of France.
Wow.
Both start on June 11th.
I'll tell you 2 things Netflix loves: murder and cocaine. They love it.
And a lot of times they go hand in hand.
They do go hand in
Yeah,
hand.
they really work out together. Wow, that's great. Richard asked, Kevin, have you watched Murderbot yet? No, I have not. Did we talk about Murderbot?
Murderbot?
Am I supposed to know what that is? We talk about a lot of stuff, and
I don't think I know
a
that
lot of
one.
crap.
No.
You know what? Somebody, maybe it was Richard that somebody did send this to me. Somebody was talking about this. I did see this in the last day. The Murderbot Diaries. It did come up. It says action comedy, 1 season. It's on Apple TV. The Murderbot Diaries is a science fiction series that is told from the perspective of the cyborg guard. Sounds like your kind of thing, Virginia.
It does not.
She I'm not kidding you. She nodded off.
I fell asleep twice.
I heard her snore.
Murderbot is eventually freed from enslavement, but instead of killing its masters, it staves off the boredom of security work by binging media.
Speaking of boredom.
Ooh.
Okay. All right, there you go. It develops genuine friendships and emotional connections, which it finds inconvenient.
Me and you would like it. I don't think.
No.
No.
Not Virginia saying, yeah, I'll see what that's all about. I have seen that pop up before.
I don't think that's Prissy Paula's style over here.
No, cyborg and blah, blah, blah.
She hates,
blah, blah,
she
blah,
hates
blah, blah.
cyborgs and she really hates dragons.
Oh, my gosh.
I actually love how much you hate dragons.
I'd rather have to dance with a real dragon than to have to watch a show about dragons.
Because I don't really think she hates dragons that much, but now she has to just put her fucking witch heels in.
Oh, I hate dragons. I hate dragons so much. If you don't think I hate dragons that much, you don't know me.
Yeah. They really had a coming back with the Game of Thrones.
They did. They did.
They had an era. And Rhonda said, I know you talk about shows a lot. I think you might like this one on Hulu. It's called Reservation Dogs. There's 3 seasons with approximately 40 to 45-minute episodes. It's comedy drama, full of heart and light comedy. Focuses on teenagers and adults in Oklahoma growing up on an impoverished Native American reservation. I'm a big fan of Ted Lasso, and I love On the Spectrum and other easygoing, lighthearted, deeper, and meaningful shows. I posted the trailer for season 2 only because a trailer for season 1 only had scenes from the first episode. It has a 99% Rotten Tomatoes rating. It's won countless awards. I could go on, but I wouldn't write in if I didn't think you guys would enjoy the show, especially you, Kevin, because it has a lot of similarities to backcountry living.
99 rating?
That's what she said.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty impressive. You don't get much better than that.
I wonder what Love on the Spectrum gets, because I am in love with that show. I think Virginia would. I think you should watch that show. I think you would love it.
I just wrapped up You on Netflix.
Way different vibe.
Way different vibe.
But it finished well?
I thought it finished good.
Okay.
I really liked the beginning. I really liked the middle. Got a little hokey towards the end.
Endings are tough to land, man. That seems to be the hardest thing with anything when it comes to these kind of projects. Is even back in the day, comedies were tough to land. A non-hokey ending. It's hard to really wrap that thing up and go, holy shit, he was dead the whole time.
There were parts of You that I would consider to be an A+. But looking at the full scope of it and considering the ending, I'd give it a B-.
Is there a show off the top of your head or even a movie that is 100% flawless to you? There's no fat on that steak. It's more probably an interesting question to ask for a show because it's longer. Is there anything out there for you?
Yeah, I would say Ted Lasso. It began and ended very well. It was pretty solid. I don't remember any episodes where like, all right, we got to move this along. It was what you got the entire time. Now, I'm not saying it's the most fantastic show of all time, but it's one that I would put in the, okay, they did it great. And that's why I'm nervous that they're bringing it back for a season 4 because I was like, you guys did it so great. I don't know where you're going to go with this now.
And it doesn't even have to be your favorite, but yeah, just like you said, every episode, it wasn't boring. There's not that one episode you're going,
It was clean. It was clean where you're like going, okay, it was consistent. I guess that's it. And it's very hard to be consistent.
Get 100% on something like that where you hit every episode. It's almost unheard of.
Yeah, it really is.
And a lot of times they only have one season in them. That's so good with the writing and then the directing of it, and you're like, wow, that was really good. And then they try to duplicate it for season 2, and you're like, meh, meh.
Well, even I love The Sopranos. I think it's such a great series, but there's probably 3 to 4 episodes where I'll always skip just because I'm like, fuck this. This is boring. It's not. It doesn't hit like everything else does.
Yeah.
And to have I gotta watch Ted Lasso. I haven't seen it yet.
It was good. I mean, if you get into it 2 to 3 episodes, whatever, and you're kind of feeling it, and again, like with any show, you got to give it time because it's character driven. So you got to get to know the characters before it really is going to hit for you. But when you do, I think you'll like it. Friday Night Lights. I've seen that twice.
Flawless for you?
Yeah, yeah, it was good. It was solid through season 1 all the way through the end, and it ended well. Where I walked away and I felt good about it. It's so good that I went back and watched the entire thing twice. I don't know that I've ever done that with a show.
I think I did. I think I watched 2 full seasons when I had COVID.
Okay,
that was my COVID show, and I did like it.
Solid.
There just was so much to watch.
There was. Yeah, it's a lot. I went maybe 5 seasons.
My COVID show was Tiger King.
That was a lot of people.
That was my COVID show.
Well, I was
like, damn, this is awesome.
I was saying when I actually had COVID and I couldn't get out of bed, I'm like, I'm just gonna watch. I'll watch Friday Night Lights. I heard Kevin talking about it. Yeah, when COVID hit, And we were just stuck in
Sitting
the
at
house.
home?
Oh, yeah, I watched Tiger King.
I was all Tiger King is what saved me from depression.
Tiger King, I just don't think he's a very good guy. I don't think jokes on
He's a terrible
I
human.
think he's a terrible human.
Terrible human. Still waiting for that pardon, though.
Yeah, it's on deck. Sure, it's coming.
I don't think Carol Baskin's that great of a human either, by the way.
No, I don't. I think she murdered her husband.
Schitt's Creek fell in that category for me. Good all the way through. And
Not one episode where you go,
No, it was good. It's very similar to Ted Lasso. It's one of those you just feel good watching it, and it ended in a great spot where it was okay. Breaking Bad, arguably.
Breaking
They had
Bad.
the episode called The Fly, which I didn't like that episode, but other than that, it ended in a way that I thought was okay.
Breaking Bad had the sister where she was stealing shit that took away certain episodes from me. I couldn't call that a completely flawless across the board, although I love that show. One of my all-time favorites.
Better Call Saul was pretty solid all the way through, and you may say that it ended the way it should have. I don't know that I loved it, but it is on the list if you talk about shows that people rank as ones that they felt ended solid. So, yeah, so those are just some to check out. Any other thoughts you can hit up in chat? Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which I never watched, Nate said.
That is one of those ones where if you don't know Brooklyn Nine-One?
No, I don't know it at all.
If you are just in a low mood and you want something goofy and just mindless to kind of make you smirk and belly laugh, put that on. It's very goofy. There's nothing heavy about it. It's pretty much The Office, but at a police station.
Okay. Anna said, I thought Succession was good all the way from start to finish.
I liked majority of it.
It's solid. I can't say anything bad about it. I thought it was good. I was surprised by how it ended, and maybe it ended the right way. It's one of those ones where sometimes you have a feeling where you're like ecstatic on how it ends, be like, oh, that's so great. I feel good about the ending. And then sometimes shows end in a way that you don't necessarily, it's not what you wanted, but it's probably what should have happened.
Yeah, I didn't think it was an awful ending. I didn't love it. For me, my perfect episodes for a show is an HBO show, and it's called The Larry Sanders Show.
Okay.
There's no fat on that steak for me personally, but that's a mid-'90s show, and I know it's old.
Right.
I don't like that old shit.
Got to go back for that one.
I don't think you'll ever watch the Larry Sanders Show.
I got a lot on my list.
I know.
I have probably 50 shows on my list to get through.
That would be a bet. I would go. My life. I'd go. Will Kevin Ralston ever watch the Larry Sanders Show? I'll go. I'm gonna bet my life on it that he does not.
Sometime in retirement.
What's it about? Can you say in 30 seconds like what the Larry Sanders Show is about?
It's about a talk show host, and you see the behind the scenes of the darkness behind it, and all the celebrities that come on the show play themselves, but they're making fun of themselves. So if Sean Penn goes on, Sean Penn acts like an asshole, then it'll cut to commercial, and then he'll have a talk with Larry Sanders, and it's a really good show. It's done, I think, realistically when it comes to how Hollywood people are.
Yeah.
And how the talk show circuit is.
Right. Okay.
And it was definitely filmed at a time where talk shows were king. Jay Leno and David Letterman and all
It's
that.
a big deal, yeah.
So I don't know if that would hit today.
I was looking at the Reservation Dogs, and yeah, it's got a 99% on the Critics' Choice on the tomato meter, and it's got 91% on the fan score. It says it's following the exploits of 4 indigenous teenagers in rural Oklahoma who steal, rob, and save in order to get to the exotic, mysterious, and faraway ... whatever that means. Faraway land of California. Okay. So there you go. So that's the whole plot of that.
Do you have one in your head that you had that was flawless? Or oh no, I ain't got that shit.
Flawless?
There's not one episode that even annoyed you.
I mean, I love Seinfeld, but there's definitely episodes of Seinfeld where I'm just like, The first season of Seinfeld is not great.
I think they said that took a couple seasons to hit.
It did. I remember when it was not hitting and it was on.
And they had to figure it out.
Yeah. The first season, I don't think, did very well at all. Maybe they changed the day and time on that. I can't remember.
I think they might have.
Yeah, and then it started to work when it got to Thursday nights. And Anna said Peaky Blinders. That's, if you like that actually was very solid. Now, they got a movie coming up, but where they've ended it so far, I will say that it's been solid and it was good. And
That-
there's a lot of pain in that because it's gangster stuff.
I love it.
Yeah, but if you can ride with the pain, it's not the feel-good Ted Lasso, but I thought it was well done.
I like a good drama. That's been on my list for so long, and I love the way they dress in that. I would love to
I
dress
think you'd like it.
that all the
I think you might like it. It's dark, meaning not only just the subject matter, but it's film dark.
Yes.
The look of it.
Yes.
It seems like it's always nighttime.
Seems like that's the style right now.
But
I
it
don't know
works.
why. For that, it works.
It works with it because it's kind of a turn of the century type of British town, and you're just getting in the Industrial Revolution, and so coal and things are burning all the time, and it's got that kind of vibe. So it is just dirty.
You might like the Penguin series on HBO.
I think I have that on my list. Yeah.
I think you might. It's only one season right now,
Yep.
and there's definitely things that are but I think overall you'll like it.
I think I got that on my list. Like I said, it's there.
Virginia, you would not like it.
Right. So we'll go on ahead and spare you of that. Got some nice emails here. One from Julianne and Amber. They're big fans of the show. They recently sent a collection of Bigfoot and alien stuff and a tad bit of paranormal to Bird and the crew. Want to make sure that it made its way to you.
It did, and I love it. Thank you very, very much.
Very cool. Let me see. It says, I know that it got sent out a little bit late, but then for whatever reason it detoured to Queens. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's weird. So anyway, so that's good that you got that.
Yeah, I thought we reached out to them, but maybe we didn't. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But I do know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And I want to let you know, too, about KVJ Cares that we have. We understand there's a lot of people that are out there struggling, and we unfortunately don't have a bank account that we can dip into and give you the money that we would love to. But what we do is if you start a GoFundMe, we'll try to put some air underneath it and get the word out for you so that, people can jump in and help out. And it's one of those things that,
Absolutely.
yeah, if you would like to do that.
If you got a little extra money and you're like, I want to feel good, you can go to KVJShow.com, click on KVJ Cares, and we put KVJ Nation GoFundMe's up there. So you can say, okay, I want to help out my fellow nationers with whatever it is. It can be medical. It can be somebody's down and out. I mean, just whatever somebody's GoFundMe is. Now, we haven't vetted all of these. We haven't gone and made sure that these are all legit. These are all just KVJ Nationers that are in need.
Yeah, and people they at least come up to me and ask me, go, hey, I want to do something nice for Little Smiles or something for a KVJ Nation who are struggling. Well, that's what that's for.
Totally. We put our arms around KVJ Nation, and if anybody's ever going through it, we want to help our own. We want to help KVJ Nation if they're struggling. So if you have a few extra bucks, you can go to KVJ Cares and find the GoFundMe that speaks to you to help out.
That's how somebody became great friends. They saw someone on KVJ Nation Cares, reached out to them, and now they're very tight and close with one another.
I love that.
Caitlin said, brief little update on our family who is in the burn unit at JMH. Cassandra, our niece and mother to Anthony and Cash, is doing well. Her burns are healing, and she may have been released to the burn clinic this week. That way she can be with her sons.
Oh, my.
Now, she was reaching out because she said, you may have heard about the tragic boat explosion that happened over Memorial Day weekend. One of the families affected is very close to us, Cassandra Rivera and her two young sons. I grew up with Cassandra in Broward, and she is truly one of the kindest, most selfless people I know. She's an OBGYN nurse at Boca Regional who has spent her life caring for others, and now she and her family need our community support. Cassandra and her boys suffered severe burns. One of the boys has burns covering nearly 80% of his body.
Oh, bless his heart.
They're now facing 4 to 6 months in the hospital, undergoing intense treatments and surgeries at Jackson Memorial Burn Unit. Their dad, Antonio, thankfully only sustained minor burns, but he's now splitting his time between the ICU with Cassandra and the PICU with their sons. Is there any way that you could share their GoFundMe link or possibly even help the boys through Little Smiles? It would mean the world to their family and everybody who loves them. So
Yes, absolutely. Send me that email, and then let's absolutely post that on KVJ Cares for the GoFundMe.
yeah, and it sounds like they may be in the burn unit till November.
Oh,
That's
my
the goal to get them
gosh.
out. So it's a very challenging time, and
Can
they
you
definitely could use the
imagine?
community's help. No,
Oh, when your kid has 80% of their body burned?
yeah.
My goodness, that's the kind of family that KVJ Cares needs to put our arms around.
That would be a great candidate, absolutely.
Yeah, and
Yes.
definitely heard about that. I don't know why we've had this weird thing of some boat fires that have happened, and they were, talking about the importance of if you don't know, if you smell any kind of gas or anything like that whatsoever, you got to be very careful. And I think one of them might have been refueling. They had a fire
Oh,
with that.
no.
Yeah, and so I think there's been 2 to 3 different fires that have happened. So that's why they kind of put that PSA out there for people that they're like, why does this keep happening?
It's scary, man.
It
Yeah,
is.
it is. So just kind of have that awareness that that is something that can happen. So if you smell gasoline, fuel, whatnot, that you got to be very careful in that situation. And that's why I think it's very important to have an experienced boater with you, because if I were on a boat, I wouldn't know those telltale signs.
Yeah, it's why I don't go on the boat with Virginia anymore.
Yes, exactly. So,
You're fine.
yeah.
I like you better as like the person in the back drinking with me, asking if I need a drink.
Well, that's why I love that Magnolia drives the boat now. She's been to all the safety classes. She's got the boater certification. She is way better of a navigator.
So is she a better boat driver than she is a car driver? I'm being
Yes.
completely serious, because to me, the idea of driving a boat would freak me out way more than driving a car. But I'm not in that world, so I don't know.
She's gotten better at both. Let's just leave it at that.
Got ya.
She's gotten way better at car and boat.
Got ya.
She hasn't hit anything in a good year and a half.
You know what we call that? A streak.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, thank you for the emails and giving us the awareness so we know what is going on out there. Just send it to us, mail@kvjshow.com. Bless to y'all. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.